one of the hardest things I think when you're getting started is finding resources. I know when I was first getting started, I didn't know where to go to get certain things, seed being one of those, and particularly seed varieties. I didn't know you don't know what you don't know. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what varieties of stuff I grow. As you can see, we have got quite a bit of seed left over, and seed's very expensive, and I'm trying to cut costs any way that I can. If you've been following a little bit about what's going on, you know that tobacco fertilizer is about $1,200 a ton or more. But one of the ways that we're going to try to kind of pinch pennies a little bit is know exactly what kind of seed we've got and how much we've got roughly before we start ordering seed. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about where I get some stuff from. We'll jump into the where first, and then I'll get to the what a little bit later. So for greenhousing, and I know that you could be watching this on the other side of the world, and I fully understand that, but just for where we are in northwestern North Carolina, these are some really good sources. For greenhouse supplies, hopefully the glare ain't too bad and you can see what I'm talking about, but Notes Greenhouse Supplies is in Pennsylvania, and Rainflow is also in Pennsylvania. Notes has a produce supply business and a greenhouse supply business. They are very competitive on their pricing, and Notes does a very good job if you're ordering something very large. They do a real good job of finding affordable motor freight, it seems like to me. They always have for me. Rainflow is very competitive on their pricing. You pretty much are not going to buy drip tape or plastic mulch cheaper anywhere that I'm aware of than Rainflow. Now, Notes is going to be pretty much in line with Rainflow, but Notes is more, they've got the produce supplies, which they sell a bunch of stuff, probably more than Rainflow. But their greenhouse supplies is pretty dang handy too, because if you could have a need for it for a greenhouse, they sell it. Rainflow is more specialized, and they're more dedicated towards plastic mulch laying equipment and supplies and the irrigation that goes along with it. So those are two really good resources to order stuff from. We've got some places here locally that we could buy plastic mulch from, but when it's 1.5 times the price of Rainflow, I try to support local as much as I can. But if you're charging me 1.5 times the price of Rainflow, I'm just gonna have to order larger quantities and have it shipped from Pennsylvania. There's another Notes catalog. That's where we get a bunch of stuff. NC Farms down in Charlotte, they're another good place, but they don't sell as many of the supplies for the greenhouse as Notes does. If you're in the produce world, you probably know about Johnny's. Johnny's is a good place, especially if you're looking for smaller quantities of oddball stuff. They're not necessarily a little cheaper dealer, but sometimes you'll find that they're not really that far out of line with prices, and they have got everything under the sun. So that's a good place to order seed. But my two go-tos are for seed is going to be Clifton, which is located in eastern North Carolina. That's one of the reasons I like doing business with them. They got good customer service, good prices, and they're a North Carolina company. And I also do business with Harris Seeds as well. Seedway is another one, but I've actually never done business with them. There's no reason that I hadn't. I just never have. So those are just a few resources for some of the places that I get some of the stuff that I use. Now, this is what works for me in my area of the northwestern Piedmont of North Carolina in sandy, loam, clay soil. So there's a lot of factors there. So take this for what it's worth as just some varieties that work really good for me. And if you plant them and they don't work out for you, don't be mad at me. I'm just trying to help. So I'm gonna go through real kind of quick like and just talk about some stuff that I grow. October beans, purple hull peas. A lot of this stuff may be regional, like from where I'm at, north and west, like up Tennessee, West Virginia. From here, people are all about this type of beans. When you get further down towards Charlotte or the center of North Carolina, Raleigh, eastern North Carolina, people don't know what this stuff is. So if you're just getting started and you're not in southwest Virginia or surrounding, I probably wouldn't grow half-runner beans because ain't nobody gonna know what they are, and they ain't gonna want to pay for them because they're pretty expensive to grow. But Volunteer is a really good half-runner. Strike, if you're wanting to grow a snap bean, if everything works out right and they got enough water and fertilize, Strike, you'll be able to pick those by the fistful. That is a really good snap bean. Let's see here. Sweet corn, I got a little bit of peaches and cream, non-GMO. That's kind of a backup plan. I'm a pretty big fan of Remedy. It's a 82-day bicolor sweet corn. Right there's a picture of it. And that is a really good sweet corn. It is Roundup ready and Liberty Link. It's a Syngenta seed, I'm pretty sure. So that means it's really expensive. We do a few heirlooms. We've narrowed it down to the stuff that people buy. It's taken us a long time, but we grow Brandywine, German Johnson, and Cherokee Purple. I don't have any because Cherokee Purple was hard to find last year. So Cherokee Purple hopefully is back in stock because that's something that I need. For retail plants, we grow Big Beef, and we do a lot of Better Boys, Early Girls, stuff like that people want for their gardens. If you're growing, now this is just me personally, peppers is not a big market for us. If we were growing them commercially, I would spend a little more money on seed, but I just grow old open pollinated peppers, and that saves me a whole lot of money on seed, and they do just as good for me as some of the high dollar. You can spend a pile of money on bell pepper seed. So I'll grow a few little odd and end hybrids, but not much. If you want to grow pickled cucumbers, Maxi Pick is hard to beat. I've got these, I think Maxi Pick was running short last year, so I got some of these Eurekas that come from Harris, and I can't speak to whether they're good or not because obviously the pack ain't been opened. I didn't grow them. Grand Prize is a really good yellow straight neck. I wouldn't grow yellow crook neck if I were you. It's a Syngenta seed. It's high, but them are some really impressive squash. They just keep putting out if you keep them sprayed and take care of them. Respect, I'm not sure the brand. Obviously that's just a Clifton bag. I can't remember who, I don't know if it's Syngenta or who it is that came up with Respect, but that is a really good zucchini. It's almost black. It's semi-scratch resistant, very prolific. Let's see here. Santana and Nadia are really good eggplant. I've been growing them for years. Used to grow about 5 acres of Nadia. Got turned on to Santana and started mixing it in. Couldn't tell the difference really in productivity. So them are kind of interchangeable in my opinion. Really good eggplant. Sweet Dawn is a decent seedless watermelon. If you're getting started, you're just now getting into the produce world. In my opinion, I wouldn't grow seedless watermelons. They're pretty tough. It's hard to get them started. It's hard to keep them. A little bit difficult to grow. They're just kind of finicky. We'll just leave it at that. They're difficult to start, and they're a little bit finicky once you get them in the field. I've been doing this for about 10 years, and we're just now getting to where we're starting to grow some seedless watermelons because our customers want them, and I still screw them up sometimes. So, pumpkins. If you want to grow jack-o'-lanterns, grow Kratos. If you want to try something else, then try something else. But if you want to have pumpkins, grow Kratos. That's what my seed salesman told me years ago when I was just getting started growing pumpkins, and he was right. Kratos was a little bit difficult to find. Normally I buy it comes in about a 3-gallon bucket from Clifton. Clifton was out last year, and so I bought a bunch from Harris, and fortunately I've got some. Here's the bad news. If you're wanting to grow some Kratos this year, you're probably not going to if you've never grown them before, because seeds are in very short supply. My seed sales lady's already called me and told me that she would try her best to get me some, but she wasn't making no promises. But it looks like I've got about maybe 6,000 or 7,000, so that'll plant a couple acres of Kratos. But Cinnamon Girl is a pretty good, like, field trip size pumpkin. It's also a really good pie pumpkin. It's about that big, about the size of a volleyball, maybe a little bit smaller. Long Island Cheese is a dang good old-timey pie pumpkin, like a buckskin pie pumpkin. And let's see, Polaris and Quantum are really good butternut squash for a fresh market variety. They produce about the correct size, whether you're trying to sell at a farmer's market or sell to food line. Polaris and Quantum are both really good. And acorn squash, Taybell. Unless something changes, I probably won't never grow anything but Taybell. Taybell is a really, really good acorn squash. And I've had some fantastic yields on plastic mulch with Taybell. Clemson spineless okra. There's not a ton of varieties of okra out there, but if you plant Clemson spineless, you're not going to go wrong. You can throw this stuff down the rock pile and it's happy. If you put too much fertilizer under it or give it too much water, it's not happy. It likes for it to be miserably hot and dry, and it's an excellent performer. But over here I've got some stuff that we don't grow a ton of. We grow a little bit of sugar baby watermelon. People seem to really like them. They're about the size of a soccer ball or a basketball. Black, got a ton of little bitty seeds in them. They got great flavor, but I don't particularly care for them because they got so darn many of them little bitty seeds. And Crimson Sweet is still a really good old variety. The main reason I've got so many of these is because we grow a bunch of plants in the greenhouse to sell. So fortunately I ain't gonna have to buy many watermelon seeds. Of course, if you've been gardening any length of time, you've heard of Athena and Ambrosia cantaloupes. Those are really good. There's another variety that a friend of mine turned me on to, and I can't remember the name of it. If you want to know, drop it in the comments, and I'll try to find it out and get back with you on that one. But this is definitely not all that we grow, but as far as what I've got on hand, these are some of the really good varieties that I've been growing for a long time that work good for me where I'm at. So it might not be the best thing for you, but if you're just trying to get started and you're wanting to know something that's a good starting point, I feel like these are pretty solid varieties to try. Anyway, I just thought I would throw a quick little video together. I've been a little bit distant lately because it's the season for all kinds of meetings all over the place, and I've also been fortunate enough to be in the NC State Ag Leadership Program. So I've just got back from a couple of weeks in Brazil for international study, and I'm going to have a video coming up here pretty soon. I'm waiting on some more pictures and videos from some friends that are they're gonna send me to put in there, and it's probably going to be a long video, but hopefully it'll be pretty good when I get it all put together. It's going to take a long time because there's a lot of pictures to put in. Just kind of highlighting our trip, traveling all over Brazil and seeing what they've got going on in their agriculture industry. If you've got any other questions about varieties of seeds or sources to buy things, drop it in the comments. I try to answer all the comments. And I appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you next time.